already know, man, it's Deion Dawkins, and you listening to the Real Deal Sports Show on the Beat 105.5.
Yes, you are. Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Real Deal Sports Show, where we talk sports of all sorts for the next hour. The Radman, J-GILLZ in the house. We get you the sports that you need and what's coming up, and also at the end of the show, we'll get into our picks to help you win some money. I hope you were riding with us last week, because we won some people some hell of a lot of money last weekend on some of our picks. So we can see if we can help you out again this week, right, J-GILLZ?
Oh, absolutely, Radman. Man, we got so much to talk about right now. I'm talking about from the NFL. We only got, 5 games left, Radman? 5 games left. We got some teams in the wild card. We got the Bills that clinched the AFC East just a couple weeks ago. Man, what a great weekend in sports we got to go about.
Now, it felt like 2 weeks ago, J-GILLZ, that we were in that snowstorm, but that was only like 6 days ago. We're coming back from Sunday night into Monday morning. Didn't get back here till almost 2:30 in the morning after the Bills threw down in the snowstorm out there in Orchard Park, New York, against the San Francisco 49ers. What a hell of a night out there in the snow and the snow of Orchard Park. Don't you think Buffalo need a dome stadium, man? People couldn't even sit in some of the seats because of the snow. It was snow piled up in their seats when they got there, right, J-GILLZ?
We talk about feet of snow, right, man? I'm talking about it was feet of snow. You had 49ers fans. Their seats were getting even more snow piled because the Bills fans were shoveling right over the 49ers fans' seats. It was hilarious. But I think that's the essence of football. I think that when you talk about the Buffalo Bills, you talk about the culture of the Buffalo Bills, just the city of Orchard Park. We're going to call it Buffalo because they get hit with the snowstorm too. I think it just fits. I think they embrace it in Buffalo. And even after talking to George Kittle after the game, who was a great George Kittle's
Yes.
a great dude, by the way.
Yes.
He even talked about how him and his wife, how they embraced the fans there, and that all the games they went to, the Buffalo Bills fans, they had the most fun over there, which got the Bills fans, of course, speculating, thinking that George Kittle wants to come play in Buffalo. Please stop it with that. But when you talk about the culture of Buffalo, I think that snow style of game they was built for that.
Yeah, they certainly were this week against a team that's not built for it, the 49ers. They couldn't figure out what shoes to bring. They didn't bring the right shoes at all because they were slipping. When the ball was snapped, almost every play, somebody on the 49ers offensive line, or especially their defensive line, they were slipping. And they didn't even have to block sometimes because of the guys was falling down like that on the field. Because they were falling down and slipping all over onto the field and everything, and slipping down on that turf that was covered in snow. It was obvious they didn't do the right planning ahead and check out the different shoes that they needed. And those are little things that teams. And when you're playing a team from the West Coast that doesn't come here that often, they don't have a chance to check out the different shoes, cleats or spikes or things. Even Tom Brady mentioned during the broadcast, I heard that Tom Brady was even saying it's a lot of things that go into. Matter of fact, he was on the talk show earlier in the week. That's what I heard him saying about, when you're playing a West Coast team and you're playing in snow, you got to be able to have the right footwear, and you try it out during the week on turf like that. And you try it out, you make a change, you bring several shoes so that you can make a change to what you need to do to be able to perform on that turf. And especially during the game, they should have been making changes with their footwear, their 49ers. They weren't able to make the changes, but they were able to run the ball early on. Christian McCaffrey was off. He was averaging 7.6 yards per carry when he injured his knee. And Kyle Shanahan said after the game that was a PCL, a sprain of his knee, basically. He sprained his knee. He couldn't continue. Christian McCaffrey, great athlete, guy. Football-wise, he's over 100,000 miles if he was an automobile. And when you're over 100,000 miles, that's when things are breaking down. His Achilles, and now his knee. It was his hamstring. It's just J-GILLZ. It's just a lot of injuries when you've been in the league over 8 years and running the ball as physical. Did you see him run over Cam Lewis or DeMar Hamlin on one of those runs, J-GILLZ?
Oh man, it was great to see that. But you're absolutely right. We talk about the weather, and we talk about the having the footwork correct. Unfortunately, it didn't pay well for a guy like Christian McCaffrey, who, as you said, right in before that second half, tore his PCL and is out for the season. But this is, to me, reminiscent of, the 49ers have always been a dominant team, but back to back, I think that Sean McDermott, he was just prepared for him. When you look at the Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel and that team, Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel, they come from the same style of coaching tree. So once I knew that Brandon Ayuk being out for the season, Trent Williams, Christopher McCaffrey was back, but all the injuries just started piling up. I knew it wasn't going to bode well, especially when you add in the weather factor for the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, because they looked like they were physical at first. They were playing well, but once McCaffrey went out, and then James Cook had that 65-yard touchdown run sprint. Really, the blocking was there. He was untouched, and he broke down the sideline and took it to the house, 65 yards for that go-ahead touchdown to make it 14-3. That really you could kind of see the momentum shift. And then the second running back came in. He was injured in the game, which was surprising. He had a high ankle sprain as well. So it was amazing to see the different injuries that the 49ers were coming up with. Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason had a high ankle sprain. So they were down to their third running back in this game. And the 49ers just, once again, it reminds me of the year they had all these injuries previously. They seem to get a stack of injuries. Going their quarterback position, looks like he's questioned. Brock Purdy can play when everybody's there. You have all these star athletes, but then when it starts breaking down, and he didn't look totally right either. You could tell the way he was throwing and making his throws. That other shoulder really wasn't moving that much, and it seemed like he definitely was having a little difficulty. They even asked in the post game, one of the San Francisco reporters said he asked Kyle Shanahan, did he take a shot in his shoulder? Did he take a shot to play? Because it did look like he probably didn't have no feeling over there because the way it was moving on his rollouts and when he was especially when he released the football. But Kyle Shanahan said no, he didn't take a shot. But they're going to say that. We don't know if that's factual or right. But he didn't. But to make the long story short, Brock Purdy didn't look right. But Josh Allen did look right. Josh Allen is playing at an MVP level. Yes, Radney family and football fans out there, the Radman saying something nice about Josh Allen. Yes, indeed. He's playing very well. He's playing within himself. He's now getting rid of the ball. Like I've always been wondering, when is this guy going to wake up and learn you got to throw the ball away? If the play is not there, get rid of the football. Throw it out of bounds. As long as you don't get called for grounding. Get outside the hash marks. Throw the ball away. Throw it out of bounds. You can throw it into the ground if you're outside the hash marks. Just get rid of the ball. Go to the next play. He's not running as much. Thank God he's not running as much. Get that ball out to your running backs. If you're passing, hit the guy in the flat. If it's not open down the field, and Mac Hollins has been having an outstanding season. Amari Cooper joining is now opening up for the tight ends. Here comes Dawson Knox. Dawson Knox starting to show up. Here he comes late in the season. Made a nice catch in that game. The Bills' offensive line is the story. They're the ones that are making it happen. They have some excellent blocking skills. Excellent blocking. Deion Dawkins, along with at tackle. Spencer Brown as the tackle on the other side of the line. Osiris Torrance, David Edwards, along with the center, McGovern. Those guys are holding it down. And then when you bring in Alec Anderson as the extra blocker on some plays, or Ryan Vandermark, everybody seems to be eating on that offensive line. And they seem to be making some serious blocks. Right, J-GILLZ?
Absolutely, right, man. And when I look at this season, when I look at this team, to me, it's about Josh Allen playing like this without the weapons that he's been accustomed to having, and that he's acquired even this season. When you look at Dalton Kincaid not being able to go for most of the season, really, he's missed a lot of games. Now Dawson Knox finally coming around. Now there's 12 personnel with Amari Cooper and Keon Coleman on the outsides. Man, this is looking very dangerous. And of course, you got Keon Coleman in the slot. So I think that this offense has not seen the full potential of where it can go. So I think that as this season goes on, I think that Bills Mafia, and most importantly Joe Brady, who I think who's done a heck of a job calling games. To me, I'm not gonna go and say that he'll be a NFL coach next season, I don't think that should be the right move for him
No,
personally.
no.
But I think that this season he's definitely on a trajectory to be one of the best play callers in the league.
Yes, indeed. And then he went to a person I had personally hadn't seen at these games. They went to a 3 tight end set when they added Zach Davidson along with Quentin Morris and Dawson Knox in there, and they went to a 3 tight end set. And they were saying, coaches were saying, because they wanted more beef up front, they wanted to really make sure they were getting off the line of scrimmage, which was supplementing the running game. And then they even passed out of the 3 tight end alignment at various times throughout that game as well. I thought they really liked the tight ends. That 3 tight end set I thought was really good. And you notice Zach Davidson, 6'8". This guy can play. He's in there right now while Dalton Kincaid. The Bills definitely need Dalton Kincaid back. But heck, I mean, you got a good guy filling in along with Quentin Morris, who's been there all year playing steady football. You know what you're going to get with Quentin Morris. Also Dawson Knox and Zach Davidson. But when Dalton Kincaid comes back, they definitely will have a serious alignment where they can still go with a 3 tight end set from time to time, especially in this bad weather coming up down the stretch drive of this football season, J-GILLZ, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and absolutely. Any aspects on the defensive side that you saw?
From the defense, I just saw a very disciplined defense. To me, what surprised me, Radman, is the signing of Micah Hyde to the practice squad. But like you said, after we saw Christian McCaffrey run over DeMar Hamlin and Cam Lewis, I guess they said we need old reliable back. So they had to call old Micah Hyde back. And I'm sure Jordan Poyer is wishing that he could get released from the Miami Dolphins and find his way back on Buffalo as well. But when I look at that team, I look at DeMar Hamlin hasn't really played to their strengths that he needs to. And to me, I think that secondary really is going to be the problem if the Buffalo Bills don't subside into, at least a conference championship or getting to the Super Bowl. That front seven has been phenomenal. Matt Milano, I know he's just gotten back, but those linebackers have played great. The front four, I mean, Greg Rousseau and AJ Epinesa have been just attacking, physical at the line of scrimmage with Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones. Those guys have been great. But when I look at that back end, that secondary, that Tyler Rapp, who often finds himself hurt, DeMar Hamlin, who's not trying to tackle, Rasul Douglas. These guys have not really been what we've expected them to do, or not even that, but what we've known the Buffalo Bills to be under Leslie Frazier and Sean McDermott. But this isn't Tre'Davious White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde. So understand that, we're not going to see that, but I have not been liking what I've been seeing from the secondary, especially with the poor tackling from the safeties.
Yeah, the safeties have been suspect, but they've been overcoming the safeties because of the good linebacker play, the defensive front. And when they break into the secondary, that's when it gets dicey with Hamlin and Taylor Rapp. Taylor Rapp been making tackles, but he's on the injured list again. Sore shoulder, his neck, shoulder, and he was limited all week. So I would not be surprised to see if Taylor Rapp may not make this game this coming tomorrow, and you'll see an insertion in there. Cam Lewis may be starting at that spot along with DeMar Hamlin. DeMar Hamlin's been steady though. He's not out of position. He's just a guy. He's not a heavy hard hitter. He's back there. He's playing his position, and he's not allowing the offense to get past him, the wide receivers or anybody to get behind him for a big score. So he's been playing but it's a conservative style. It's just a different look, a different feel on that back end with DeMar Hamlin and Taylor Rapp out there. I always think on that safety side, you need somebody that can hit and make a play. And that's why I'm thinking down the road, Terrell Bernard, the Bills linebacker, who I call the undersized linebacker, who always seems to be around that football and making plays. I think he'd be a good candidate to become a safety, to move into the safety position, train him, work him out throughout the OTAs and the training camp, and get him into a safety position because I think he could definitely play the safety position. He has the speed, and he definitely has the ball hawking skills to get in there, break up passes, and also making us and cause turnovers, and also create interceptions with his quickness and elusiveness of getting to the football, rather than him being up closer to the line of scrimmage and trying to stop those big, heavy-duty running backs. I think the Bills need to definitely look for a bigger linebacker during the offseason. And one thing for next season's team in the draft, looking for a middle linebacker to also help. And Matt Milano, I thought Matt Milano played decent out there in the game, but in the snow. But tomorrow's game in Los Angeles and SoFi Stadium, I don't see snow expected out there in SoFi in beautiful Southern California, Inglewood. But folks at Woody's Barbecue, hey, I'm not going to make it over to Woody's this weekend. I'm not making the trip out there to SoCal this weekend. But, hey, if you're out there and going to the game, make sure you see the friends of the show over at Woody's Barbecue. Right, not far from the stadium, about less than a 5-minute drive, a 5-minute walk, 2-minute drive over to Woody's, and they'll get you with some serious barbecue because they throw it down, J-GILLZ.
Oh, absolutely. I know that's right. I know they ain't got nothing on Gates, though. I'm pretty sure they ain't got nothing
No. We ain't even. That's the king right there. You know, I ain't even
right.
I don't mention them in the same breath with with Gates Barbecue. You know, Gates is the undefeated champion right now.
But previewing that game, Radman, with Los Angeles Rams, even though I think a lot of NFL fans think this is going to be a good game, a close one, I just don't see the lack of effort coming from those Los Angeles Rams. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that they have an elite offense. Well, not elite, but they have pieces to make it interesting. But when I look at this season and I look at where their season's gone, I just don't foresee the way the Buffalo Bills have been just engaged, the way they've been coming prepared, and the way that they've been just going completely just running this offense. I don't know the last time they punted, right, man? I'm not even sure the last time the Buffalo Bills punted in a game. So I just think that with that front seven, being able to get some Matthew Stafford, and most importantly, stop Kyrie Williams, stopping Kyrie Williams in that running game. And I think after that, that's going to be all she wrote.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with you on that. That's going to be a telling factor. I think the Bills will be able to run the football on that front seven of the Rams. Rams been giving up a lot of yards. That's why you'll have our Bills pick toward the end of the show. But also, let's get into Trevor Lawrence. When's somebody going to teach Trevor Lawrence how to slide? Because he slid way too late. The guy, I can see the guy getting fined because he hit him with the forearm. He gave him everything he said. Al-Share. He gave him all he had. I mean, he put the forearm right in his face mask, a helmet, an elbow to the head type WWE type move. Because Trevor Lawrence caused the foul in my estimation. Trevor Lawrence got to learn how to slide. These quarterbacks are young quarterbacks. You got to learn how to slide and get down like a Murray. Murray played baseball a little bit, so he knows how to slide. Kyler Murray with the Arizona Cardinals, but a lot of these other guys, and you see how he was trying to get the extra yards, J-GILLZ. If he didn't get greedy, he became the needy because he got too doggone greedy out there on the football field, and he got carted off. Right, J-GILLZ?
Carted off, done for the season. They're already calling him out for the season. And honestly, what worried me the most, when I looked at that, is remember when Tua got hit with the Cincinnati Bengals 2 years ago, and his fingers started seizing up, and then the same thing happened in Buffalo temporarily. When I saw Trevor Lawrence's fingers seize up just a bit, that was what worried me the most, and I knew that hit really was going to knock him out of the game. Honestly, I think it's the right move for Trevor Lawrence. The Jaguars wasn't doing anything this season. I think it's an easy way to say, just let him not get hurt any further. But to me, I think I'm more so concerned about the franchise in general. I did like the fight from the team for Trevor after that hit. Definitely, it was a whole brawl that ensued. So that goes to show you that they have their quarterbacks back. But just what I'm seeing from this franchise, it's disgusting. To have all this level of talent, to have a Super Bowl winning head coach in Doug Peterson, and for the Jaguars to win only 2 games this season, man, I would hate to be a Jaguars fan right now. I'm not sure what it is.
Yeah, it's something going on there. And Peterson did a Super Bowl champion coach. Just can't seem to get it going with them this season. They seem to be having a lot of difficulty winning football games and staying competitive in football games because they should have won that game. After that hit, I thought Mac Jones should have came in there. I thought the defense should have stiffened up a little bit and beat the Houston Texans just on that alone. And J-GILLZ, I disagree on the punishment. They gave this young man a 3-game suspension. And I could see one game. I said, okay, it was a violent hit. hey, football is a dangerous sport. You got to be out there protecting yourself. And Trevor Lawrence, for whatever reason, left his big juice head up there exposed to be hit. I mean, come on. You can't be sliding late and then expect the defensive guy was already into his hitting. The only thing I thought he should have did different is hitting with his shoulder instead of his forearm. He should have caught him with the shoulder, and I thought that would have made it an illegal hit. But heck, if he would have hit him with his shoulder, he might have hurt himself because he would have had to turn his body in such a fashion that it was almost not used to that type of hitting. So I thought it should be a 1-game suspension. They tried to say that he hit rough other games and stuff, but he hit late, but he wasn't penalized in these other games. J-GILLZ, I think they go after some of these football. They nitpick and go after some of these guys that don't have the big names, and maybe they don't. They say, well, we can get our pocketbook out of this guy. Now you're gonna take 3 game checks from this young man, and I think it's disgraceful. I think, and then I had the nerve, the audacity to uphold after the young man appealed it. They upheld the decision for him to be out 3 games, and I think that's just not right. I wonder if that was a Kansas City Chief or a Buffalo Bill or a team that seems to be in serious contention, would you allow one of their key players to be missing for 3 weeks in a row due to a fine that the front office, the league office, is giving? What do you say, J-GILLZ?
I agree with you. I agree with you in the sense of 3 games to me was a bit much and a bit excessive. But sometimes, right, man, we can't look at the aggressor, but we have to look at the victim. And in this case, the victim was Trevor Lawrence, the golden boy, long, flowy, golden locks, the white boy from Jacksonville. So when you're talking about that, obviously the NFL are going to protect their interests. I don't think if this was Lamar Jackson, or if this was a Jameis Winston, or if this was a CJ Stroud, I'm not sure if the same would have been applied to the sentence. So when I look at this, it's not surprising. Is it fair? No, it's not fair. And also you have to look at who the head coach is and DeMeco Ryans. Anything to punish DeMeco, you know what I mean? So I'm not surprised at all. But sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, and DeMeco spoke with them on Monday, the league office. He had a meeting with the league office regarding the play. And that's highly unusual when you see the coach have a meeting with the league office regarding a hit that was by one of his players, and then still get suspended 3 games. You're right. I think it was more the looks of how it looked rather than what transpired, because he seemed to be okay, the young man. Trevor Lawrence doesn't seem to be, they said they're going to have him out, but I think he's out because he's done had so many injuries this year. I think he had another if I'm not mistaken, he might have had a prior concussion earlier in the season. We just don't know because he's been out with numerous injuries throughout the season. So
that's very true.
So you just can't tell by that why they keep him out. They keep him out because he's just been beat up so much, and he probably was playing with an injury and was trying to make it go. And he just the speed of the game. The game is so fast. He's just not used to sliding. He got to learn how to slide in the off season. Hey, let's turn it to a local topic. High school sports here at Monroe High. What happened with Monroe High School and Edison Tech this week? Why did the reclassification? What is this reclassified all about, J-GILLZ?
Well, Radman, an unprecedented history. I have not ever seen this before in my time of looking and watching the Section 5. I'm not sure if you have. You've had a lot more experience than me. But for the first time in recent history, the Monroe Red Jackets got reclassified during the middle of the sports season, the school year. During the middle of the school year, they went from a Class A team. Mind you, last year they were they got moved up to Class A due to the student size of the cohort, which I don't know all the facts on how that's done, how that's deliberated. Mm-hmm. However, the Monroe football team, phenomenal team, by the way, coached by head coach Terrell Cunningham Sr., excellent coach. Buffalo Bills, I believe, nominated him for the Don Shula Coach of the Year just last year. Phenomenal team.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
They get pushed up to Class A this year.
Okay.
Had a good season in my opinion. It's not to their standard because they weren't able to defend their sectionals championship from Class B, which is absurd, if you ask me. But they were able to, go on to face Brighton. They ended up losing to Brighton. Football season's over. And just a couple weeks later, they're changed down to Class B in the middle of the school year.
Yes.
That's absurd.
That's unheard of. I've never seen that before. In the middle of a sports season, two schools, and they both have to be city schools. Edison Tech also was reclassified from AA to A, and I understand that. I know. Hopefully, we'll have Principal Jason Muhammad or the athletic directors from Monroe or Edison Tech on the shows coming up in future weeks here to let us know, give us more insight into this, because if you're reclassifying, that means something was wrong to begin with. That means that when you moved Edison, basically in the case of Monroe High School, they moved them up after they won the Class B championship and then went to the state semifinals and lost in the state semifinals. You decided to move them up because because they dominated in that level. But if you look at how the schools are calculating it, the city school district went back and recalculated how they do freshmen to seniors, the 4-year students. But unfortunately, some of these high schools have students that are still there that have not graduated and working to graduate, and they were still counting kids that should have been graduated the previous year on. They still have kids that were lingering, trying to get their diploma, still in the building at these high schools, and the city school district wasn't counting them properly, is my understanding. So now you're counting just kids who are coming in as freshmen and kids that are there physically in the school that should be on track to graduate, that the students that should be graduating 4 years later. Those are the kids you count. You don't add in kids that are still there that should have been graduated or moved on, and they're there finishing up their coursework for whatever reason took place. You can't do that. So my understanding is Principal Muhammad notified the city school district and worked with them on getting their numbers straight. And now that they have their numbers straight within the Rochester City School District, or how you calculate how many kids are at your school, Monroe went back to where they should have been. They should have never been moved. They should have always been in Class B due to the smaller size of their school. And it's a shame that the state would do that, move them up without at least keeping it. They should have kept them in B and investigated the situation further. And then when they found out that truly they are a smaller size school, they're a school that fits the Class B area, then you don't move them up because they whooping everybody's butt because they went undefeated and they beat everybody in the Class B. You don't do that by how they perform on the field. You go by the rules that you set. So what the state did in the Section 5, they went ahead and didn't even follow their own rules, right, J-GILLZ?
Absolutely, Radman. And when you talk about it, we're talking about one team. We're talking about the football team being so dominant that they changed the whole school structure. And what the state didn't realize is how it impacted the whole school, Radman. When you've got volleyball, when you've got flag football, when you've got all these other sports that we had to play, that they had to play in Class A, you had the Monroe volleyball team playing the Fairport Girls volleyball team, getting blown out, all because they were trying to send a message to the one program. And to me, it's all about timing. How do you change it right after the football season? To me, that's absurd, that's deplorable, and that's a fireable offense, in my opinion.
Exactly. And it shows that, once again, they don't care about our kids. The Section 5, they don't give a damn about black and brown kids in the city school district, because you wouldn't have did that to a suburban school. You haven't done that to Bishop Kearney. You didn't do that to all these schools that's in Class B. You didn't do it to Batavia. You didn't do that to any other cities, to suburban schools. It wasn't. How come no suburban schools were affected by this? That's my question. It's just a disgrace how the city school district our kids, are treated by the overall outside community of Western New York. It's deplorable, and I'm glad that Principal Muhammad and others stood up to the powers that be and let them know you're not going to treat our kids like this and get away with it. So you got away with it for football, and now you changed it right after the football season. And this is the first time you ever pick up the article. James Johnson has this article in the Democratic Chronicle newspaper. Read the article in the Democratic Chronicle newspaper. James Johnson, a friend of the show, a sports writer, been Edison Tech graduate. He's been with the Democratic Chronicle quite a long time. Read his article on Reclassified. I mean, when you read it, it'll make your skin crawl and make your blood boil, because this is Monroe Edison get reclassified by state. The NYS, the state makes unusual mid-year move is the title of the article, right on the front page of Thursday, December 6th, sports page. But if you go online, you can find the article in the online in the Thursday or Wednesday Democratic Chronicle newspaper. Read the article and ask your ask the teachers at your school, or ask the athletic directors, why did this happen? Why are the city schools disrespected like this? Why? Why does this happen time and time again? It's 2024, right? Here we go. But why is our kids still being treated like it was 1970? Why?
It's
when you get it,
Radman, but you know what? I will say this: Principal Muhammad, he's a fighter, and I know that he's going to fight for his kids, and he's going to fight for his school.
Absolutely. And this next segment was brought to you by the award-winning Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, Auto, Home, Health, and Life Insurance, 1038 Lyle Avenue or 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Give her a call, area code 585-360-0094. Auto, Home, Health, and Life. You put the boats and the toys away, but hey, it's wintertime. If you got the new car or a used car, new or used, whatever, check her out for the rates. Homeowners insurance. You have, hey, Auto, Home, Health, and Life Insurance. Give our sponsor, our lead sponsor, Miriam Rivera Insurance Agency, Farmers Insurance Agency. But she had those other insurances like Progressive and some other ones as well. So it's not just Farmers. She can look up and find the right price for you. 1038 Lyle Avenue, 511 Bean Road, Suite B. Phone number, area code 585-360-0094. Check her out. Check her out anytime to get things back in order for sure. As we continue on with the show here. Also, Challenger Community News, Western New York's largest weekly African-American newspaper. Check out Challenger Community News. A lot of fine articles in this week's Challenger. Let you know what's going on with the city lifeguard program. They're looking for lifeguards, y'all. Young people, parents out there, if your kids want to learn how to swim, let them learn how to swim. Some of them may want to become lifeguards. Check them out. That's all in this week's Challenger Community News. The AKA, the Pearls, poised for perfection. Got nice and fine young ladies on the cover, gracing the cover. The debutantes, the 2024 AKA debutantes are on the cover of this week's Challenger Community News. Very nice article on their upcoming event as well. The Good Cause eviction law stalled. Find out why it got stalled and who's stalling what. We'll check it out all in Challenger Community News, West New York's largest weekly African-American publication. And now we're going to go up next to a upcoming boxing event coming here in Rochester, New York. J-GILLZ, we got more boxing coming up. The ones last week, I want to thank Derek Gramlin for not only advertising on the station, but also we came out to the show, was on the show the last 2 weeks promoting the event. A fine event last week at Nasty Knuckles. We were out there, treated us well. It was some excellent bouts. The amateur bouts were very exciting, and so was the heavyweight divisions in the pro bouts that happened Saturday night. A great day. Started at 2 in the afternoon and went almost up to 10 o'clock at night. A beautiful afternoon of boxing. We want to thank them, Nasty Knuckles, and the whole crew over there, Savage Productions, for that fine event. Well, we have a new friend of the show coming on right now. Here's Bubba. Bubba, welcome to Real Deal Sports Show. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. I appreciate you guys having me on the show.
Great. Can you tell us about this fight card, this card that you have coming up? When is it coming up?
I own Full Contact Promotions. We're a little different from boxing. We do mixed martial arts, MMA, and kickboxing inside of an MMA cage. Been doing this for about 12 years now. Just trying to provide the best platform for these young and upcoming athletes. We've had plenty of athletes who went pro onto the UFC, other bigger platforms out there. Go ahead.
No, but beautiful. Glad to hear that. Some of your people keep moving up in the MMA and UFC type in the cage. When is this event taking place?
So this event will take place this next Saturday, December 14th. The first part of the show will be wrestling in the cage. We have youth wrestlers that will participate, wrestling in the cage, walk out the lights and music, just like another platform I'm providing for the young athletes. Don't charge them a penny. They get trophies. That'll start at 8 a.m., probably end around noon. And then we'll have a little break between then, and then the doors will open up at 4 p.m., and the first bell will be at 5 p.m. To start off the night with the kickboxing fights.
Excellent. What's the location?
It's going to be at the Holiday Inn downtown on 70 State Street. It'll be in the upstairs ballroom.
That's an excellent location. Excellent location. Bubba, I just want to ask you, a lot of people, especially in Rochester, don't realize when we talk about the talent, when we talk about the mixed martial arts fighters here in Rochester, from the best of, one of the best right to do it, John Jones, Desmond Green, and Mike Carson. You know what I mean? These guys who have been phenomenal. What is it about Rochester that we just keep on finding such great athletes in all levels, from basketball to football and even MMA?
I just the like you said, the talent is here. The problem with it is some of these guys need the push behind them. They need the support. And sometimes they just don't have that support. A lot of people build their organizations on just putting money in their pockets, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be, people should be out here supporting the local gyms, supporting the local organizations who are trying to provide the best platform for these young and upcoming athletes so they can showcase their talent. So their talent gets out to the world and people see it and they can move up, out there, because there's a lot of talent out there. But I feel like Rochester, I grew up here, there's tons of talent that's come out of Rochester in all sports.
Yes, indeed.
I agree.
Yeah, and with all this talent, not only we mentioned, we're just talking football and the high school teams and how they're getting so much better and competing very well against the suburban teams and the whole 9 yards. And with MMA, how does someone get involved? If someone has an interest, how can they get involved?
So the main background of mixed martial arts is wrestling. I never grew up as a wrestler. I played football, but as I got into training kickboxing and Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it's another part of the mixed martial arts. Mm-hmm. I started learning little by little and getting more involved. And then, after I learned the basics behind it with the wrestling, I got my own kids involved in wrestling. So I have my 8-year-old, this is his 4th year wrestling. My 12-year-old just started wrestling for the school. So that's the biggest thing right there. If you can get your kids into some type of either Brazilian jiu-jitsu or wrestling, that's half of it right there. And then as they get older, you find, there's a lot of great reputable gyms here in Rochester area or wherever you are. And then you can get involved with the kickboxing and jiu-jitsu. That's kind of where it comes, because we do also junior kickboxing fights on our show. So we have kids as young as 12 years old. So this upcoming fight, I have 2 young girls, one girl that's 12 years old, the other girl is 13 years old, and they both have at least 3 fights each that are fighting on this card.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And I have to agree with that, because coming as a former wrestler myself, wrestling for the Wildcats, like I said, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Mike Carson.
Absolutely.
Word.
Mike Carson is a very, very good friend of mine. I still keep in contact with him. Mike Carson, his last fights were on my show in Rochester before he moved. And that's when we were doing the shows at the Armory. It was a perfect spot for us. It was kind of sad to see that place just go away, and not being used anymore, because there is no great venues in Rochester anymore.
Right. Now, you're absolutely right. But to that point, me being a former wrestler, knowing, on a team with Mike back in the days, and then, it was the same style. He started with the karate, and then the jiu-jitsu, the wrestling. It's like you making a soup. You adding all these elements and ingredients, and he's going on to phenomenal things. But to that point, I do agree. I think these venues definitely need to do a better job of having something better. Now is what went into the Holiday Inn as being your present location after the Armory shutting down.
Well, the Holiday Inn is it's a nice venue. Obviously, a little smaller than what I'm used to. Like for instance, the Armory, we would set up the whole lights and truss hanging from the ceiling with everything in general. Just the atmosphere is a lot different. But the Holiday Inn, to hold a fight, we can hold about 1,000 people in there. It's still great because I want to keep the shows going. I want to still provide the best platform for these young upcoming athletes so they can showcase their talent. Besides the Holiday Inn, in March and May, we do our shows at the Tim Hortons Iceplex. That's a time where they take out the ice. So they've been real great to me. We've done a few shows there. They've made it very cost effective to put on a show there because these shows cost a lot of money to put on, from insurance to security, everything that goes into them. So, I can't complain. We just got to keep pushing hard and try to get the support of everybody out there to keep these shows going.
Yes, indeed. J-GILLZ, go ahead with the next question.
Absolutely. And how long have you been doing this?
This is probably going to be about 12 years so far.
12 years.
What's been the most rewarding thing? I know you mentioned the youth, and that's definitely. I work with youth myself, so that's a reward in itself. But what's been some of the most rewarding things that's got to come out of this type of work that you're doing?
The most rewarding thing, like I said earlier, is seeing athletes who have fought for me for 2, 3, 4 years, even 5 years, and see them go take it to the next level. Become pro and being on those high level cards that are televised worldwide. Like I said, the UFC, LFA. That's, for me, that's rewarding because I was able to provide that best platform. Mm-hmm. And these kids were able to go on there and accelerate themselves and go to the next level.
Wow. Absolutely.
And how's the safety side of it? I know some parents probably think, hey, when they're in the cage, they're kicking, they're punching, blah, 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 they're wrestling. Well, what is the safety? How do you go about the safety issues? It's
huge. First of all, every fighter has to get a full physical workup by a doctor that's cleared for them to participate in mixed martial arts. They have to get a blood work panel to make sure everything is clear. Then the night before at weigh-ins, a doctor will go through a pre-fight physical. They will double check them again to make sure they're cleared. They sign off on it. And then the commission, I use the ISKA. They're an international third-party sanctioning group who New York State licensed to come in and do the amateur. They do a great job. They have the best referees. They make sure that if they see a danger coming, they're going to stop it before it happens. Listen, people are going to get hurt. It's a full contact sport. But at this level, they will try to minimize it to the best of their ability so they don't get hurt because they can live the fight another day, And a lot of fighters don't agree with that. Sometimes they feel there's early stoppage. Some fighters and coaches agree with it. It's safety is huge. You just can't let somebody get in there and get their brains pounded out and then their life is done, So the safety is very safe. A lot of kickboxing fights, they have to wear protection, headgear, shin pads. So to get the fighter started, that's a requirement by the commission. Like you have to wear some type of protective gear for your first 2 fights.
Excellent. And who are the top fighters that people is a must see? I know they want to see the entire card, but who should people get there to see?
So starting from the kickboxing fight, we have, I want to say, the 3 top fights I'm looking forward to is we have a kid out of Buffalo who is undefeated. He was undefeated as a junior kickboxer and now as an adult. And he's fighting I want to call it the OG to the full contact promotions, this kid Andreas. Mm-hmm. He was a title holder. He had just fought for a New York State commission title, ISKA title, so 2 titles. So he's back. He's fighting for a title. And if he wins this fight, he gets a rematch to the fight he lost in Attica back in August. Another fighter, we got a couple female fights that are pretty interesting. From the kickboxing, I have a girl from Buffalo and a girl from Watertown. They're doing a Muay Thai fight. That's going to be exciting. Muay Thai is a little different than kickboxing, a little different rules, spices it up a little bit. But the MMA part is where we're looking at. Main event, we have a kid by name Tony Viscomi out of Buffalo and a kid Rich Lang out of Utica. Both fighters are a master at this game. Since we posted it online, it's went viral. It's an MMA title fight. Like I said, it's going to be huge. Tony Viscomi is undefeated. Rich Lang has only got one loss. You know, they're both an OG to the game. The co-main event, two females. I have Kara Hyde. She's 5-1. She's from, I want to say, Elmira area. And then I have a Canadian. So I bring in a lot of Canadians to fight.
Okay.
That's a big thing because Canada doesn't allow amateur mixed martial arts as of right now. So they'll come across the border. And this girl, she fought for me in the Attica show and actually had a finish, like an amazing finish. So she's 4-1. They're fighting for a title. So we have a lot of top, fights. A lot of local fighters going to be fighting. And that's the other thing. A lot of these fighters, I give them tickets to sell. They want to sell tickets. They sell them and they get back a commission because amateur fighters can't get paid. That's obviously illegal. But for me to give back to the fighters, cost them money to train. They take off of work to cut weight, So that's just a little help to put back into the fighters' pockets,
That's outstanding. And when is this again? It's next Saturday, December 14th?
Next Saturday, December 14th. The fights, doors open at 4 p.m. The first bell will be at 5 p.m. We have 18 fights. So it's going to be a nice night of fights.
Wow, 4 p.m. Doors open, 5 p.m. the first fight. Plenty of parking downtown at the Holiday Inn downtown. People, listenership, come on out and enjoy.
There's parking also. I just want to mention it. There's free parking across the street at the Sisters Garage. So I know there's a little bit limited parking at the Holiday Inn, but right across the street, the Sisters City's Garage, it's free parking on the weekend. Plenty of parking. You walk right across the street. Great night of fights.
Outstanding. And who's your sponsors for this event?
We have obviously our main man, Sammy Rock Pond Brokers on State Street.
Yes,
we have Mad Hatter Smoke Shop, Frio's Ice Cream. We have my boy Shane Price at Westher Toyota. Let's see here. We have also 5-Star Auto, Global Soft. Those are your main, sponsors that we have in this fight that actually help, bring this card together and allow us to have these fights. Because without the sponsors, it's tough to put on these fights.
Absolutely, Bubba. Absolutely. Once again, I want to thank you very much. We're going to promote the show next Saturday as well. Hopefully, we might have a fighter on the show next Saturday morning to pump it up, to come on down, because it will be the day of the show next weekend. But thank you so much for coming on Real Deals.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Definitely. We're going to talk about the other more professional time next time we get you on.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
All righty. Take care.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Hey, J-GILLZ, it sounds like an excellent card there next Saturday, December 14th at the Holiday Inn downtown, starting at 4 p.m. This fight card, lead sponsor, Rock Palm Broker, and the whole 9 yards. Hey, it's going to be on. BacSpin, I'm sure, may we even want to get down there for this fight, especially those two main events he's talked about. Bubba was just talking about. But main event of the NFL, and BacSpin can join in on this one. Hey, I like Minnesota Vikings this week, giving up 5.5, 4.5. Kirk Cousins looked like there's something wrong with his shoulder. Something's wrong with him. It's just like the Brock Purdy injury. He didn't look right at all. He hasn't been throwing the ball with velocity the last 3 or 4 weeks. Even coming out of the bye week, I thought they were going to explode last weekend. He threw 3 interceptions instead, cost his team the game. I think it's time to switch to go to Penna, the rookie out of University of Washington. I think it's time to maybe think about putting Penna in there, starting him the rest of the season, because it looks like it's something happened. He got hit. He must have took a shot, injury. Somebody must have laid him out or something in some of these other games. And it seems like it might be an undisclosed injury, because Kirk Cousins doesn't look right at all. No. I've been up and down on him, but he physically just didn't look right.
I agree with you, Radman. This is not the Kirk Cousins that we've seen, and it's funny because when you look at his backup, Michael Penix, I think that he's been playing actually pretty decent this season. I hear what you're saying, but I think that he'd be a very suitable backup moving forward. But we only got a couple of seconds, so I'm gonna let you win these folks a little bit more money.
All right, Cleveland getting 7. If Cleveland getting 6.5, this is not. Last week I told you to take the Steelers. The Steelers was getting 3 points. They didn't even need the 3 points. They won the game. They outscored the Bengals defense. Just laid down. Seemed like for the Steelers, they didn't even seem like they cared that they were playing. They allowed the Steelers to score 44 points in that game. Is unheard of right now as the Pittsburgh Steelers putting scores up like that. 21 points in the first quarter. Hey, I told you the Steelers last week. This week, don't be on their bandwagon. I think the Steelers will win a game, but Jameis Winston putting points on the board like it's nothing, man. Oh my gosh, man. I know they mad they started Deshaun Watson
on both
those games.
teams. On both teams, he putting points on the board like it's nothing.
He would have thrown for 668 yards if they counted the 2 interceptions, that the 71-yard interception and the other 45-yard one that went for touchdowns. This guy, hey, he gonna give you some touchdowns and he gonna give up some touchdowns. So that guy is one of the most exciting quarterbacks to ever play the game, man. You just don't know what you're gonna get from Jameis Winston, man. Holy smokes! Woo, but Cleveland with the 7. Miami, I think the Jets will lay down. Miami will cover their game. Arizona pick them at home against Seattle. They played 2 weeks ago. I like Arizona in this one. Buffalo, I think the Bills will take care of the Rams in that game. And also Kansas City, I think Kansas City Chiefs will get their first cover. I think they'll cover finally against the LA Chargers. Welcome back, BacSpin.
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
Good,
man.
Funny, J-GILLZ.
Excellent show. Man, I'm just mad about fantasy football.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to, back on top. Like I said, my name ain't back on top for no reason. You know what I mean? Yeah, J-GILLZ, we had a hard-fought match in the Fantasy Football League, but to the victor goes the spoils. So, I'll pat myself on the back.
But we got a long season left back. We got a lot more games to play. We got the playoffs. We got the championship.
Yep. I hope to see you there, brother. I hope to see you there.
Oh, that's cold. That's cold. It's colder than outside, man.
Yeah, and that's one thing it is, cold outside. And you guys with the fantasy season, you guys doing great with the fantasy season and the pick'em. I did win one of the pick'em weeks of the stations 105.5. The pick'em. Don't forget, everybody, get on that pick'em. Yeah. How can they get on? How can they get on the pick'em, BacSpin?
They can go to our website, theb1055.com, click on the banner, and it will take you right to the football pick'em pool page. And they have to register, but it's completely free. Mm-hmm. And you can sign up every week. If you win, you get a $70 prize pack from Papa John's Pizza out there in I think it's 2835 West Henrietta Road. Yep. And we've had a lot of winners this season. One person didn't miss a game, so he got all the games correct. Another person almost got all the games correct. I think he missed one game. But it's been phenomenal. I think we have. I know we have over 60 participants in the football pick'em pool, maybe more, but I know it's over 60. So you guys, if you want to get down, what they say in the movie, State Property, get down and lay down. That's what we do in the football pick'em pool. Get down and lay down, baby.
That's right. And I had my day of glory. I won it a few weeks ago. So hey, y'all come on. Y'all come on and win. I'm great with picking as a team, not this individual stuff that BacSpin and J-GILLZ are good at. I'm picking my favorite players, and they're not the ones getting the ball most of the time.
Yeah. That's the thing with fantasy football. You got to take your emotions out of it.
I see.
Does a great job at being the GM, making those in-season moves. BacSpin's on the waiver wire and on the free agency wire constantly.
Didn't I tell you about Anthony Richardson? I plugged and played him, and he got me to win, keeping it 100.
And you probably dropped him right after that.
I sure did.
Exactly. BacSpin is the GM, man.
That's a real GM move. Oh,
he had to go. Thank you guys so much, man. Real Deal Sports Show every Saturday morning, 8 a.m. right here on the Beat 105.5. I'll check back in with you guys next week. Y'all have a great weekend.
You do the same, and remember, everybody, continue to be a good sport.
Yes, indeed. Keep it where you need it, Rock City. The Bag of Time Mix Show is on the way right here on the Beat 105.5.